We get ready for a baseball weekend here with the Mets and the Rays, the Yankees and the Blue Jays. Not thrilling, of course. Gray will be up in Toronto tonight. DeGrom on the mound for the Mets this evening as we get things going there. So let's see what's on everybody's mind. I don't know if I could take. I can't do all these trades, folks, but we'll see how much we can bear for a couple of minutes. Really, because it's really gotten to the point of silliness with a lot of it. Mike in East Rockaway. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Mike. Welcome back, Mike.
Thank you.
I just came back from the boardwalk driving through the monsoon. I'm on Lawson right now. I'm going to play a few races. But, yeah, it is getting to the point of craziness. My dad, rest his soul, was a Brooklyn Dodger Met fan. I'm a Met fan. The scenarios with the what-if trades and this and that. I've always said, Mike, over the years, let's see how the New York teams do during the dog days of summer. That's what it's about. All right, Mike.
What does that mean? What does that mean exactly? I mean, the Mets are buried. Their season's over.
I know they're buried.
So every day's been dog days for the Mets. Okay, they're all dog days. And for the Yankees are on their way to 100 wins this year. So they're going to be just fine. Their schedule's easier than it's been the rest of the season, and they've already played 667 baseball over the first 85 games. So they're going to be just fine. I mean, we've already learned what they are. The Yankees are terrific, and the Mets are awful. So the dog days aren't going to change that fact. The question is, are the Yankees going to get a pitcher, and are the Mets going to trade? What portion of this team are they going to trade away? That are the only things we're looking to find out now. The other things we've already found out about these teams.
That's true. The Yankees are just shy of 700 ball, and things develop, barring injuries, and see what they can pick up in trades with an extra arm. And see how it goes.
But what the dog days aren't going to tell us. I mean, the dog days aren't going to define what the Yankees are. They've already been defined. We know what they are. They're a contender to win it all. They just got to decide if they can find if they can get another pitcher. That's all. I mean, and we know what the Mets are. Awful. The dog days aren't going to define them either. Their dog days arrived early. They've been playing like dogs for 2 months. Greer in Morristown. What's up, what's up, Greer?
How you doing, Mike?
What's happening?
If Washington continues to tumble, do you think that the Yanks could pry away Scherzer for a package of,
come on,
say, Sanchez, Frazier, and Sheffield?
Stop.
Stop.
Do you think Washington is going to trade Scherzer?
Well, I mean, they're going to work hard for him in the offseason. If they come fall out of contention, I'm saying.
That doesn't matter. They're not giving up their franchise. It's not like they're ending their. If they have a bad year, they expect to be right back.
And a pitching prospect.
They expect to be back next year.
Without Harper?
Yes. If they don't get Harper, you don't think they're going to use that money to go get players? They have plenty of money. They spend plenty of money. If they don't spend it on Harper, which they might not, because he might want so much money, they might not pay him. And that might not be the worst thing in the world. They have some very good young players. They have some terrific prospects. They have a ton of talent on that team. They've just went through a bad... First of all, I think they're going to contend this year, number one.
Okay.
They just went through a bad slump, but they are not going to break that team down. They're not thinking about breaking that team down, and they're not giving you one of the best pitchers in baseball.
They'd be getting an all-star catcher and an outfielder that can contribute.
All right, well, you trade Severino. Well, how about if
big pitching prospect.
How about if they call you for Severino? You giving him to him?
Well, the Nationals are not in first place.
Doesn't matter.
Games,
but they think they'll be back next year. They don't think their careers are over.
Do you think that would get you DeGrom, that package?
What package?
Sanchez, Frazier, and Sheffield. I can't part with Andujar.
You give him,
integral.
He could get it for me if you give me Bird, Sheffield. If you give me Bird, Frazier, and Sanchez, I'll do it.
They need the lefty, though.
You give me Bird, Frazier. What, the Yankees might not even... The Yankees might be down on Bird, everything you hear.
Yeah, but you need some left-handed hitting in the line.
Yankees are not trading Sanchez. You know that. Let's be serious for a second.
Have you missed them, Mike?
They
just need two of the top 5 teams in baseball without them.
You know what? What happens in a week means nothing in baseball. How many hits has your catcher gotten in that time?
A lot.
A lot? Your third-string catcher did. Your second-string catcher hasn't had a hit. Your third
but
string
you know
catcher.
why-
So now you're counting on your third string catcher who's hitting 180 but hit 3 home runs to be the guy now. Is that it? So now a guy who hit 53 homers in his first 600 at bats, you're ready to dump him. I mean, you think the Yankees are you out of your mind? You think the Yankees would really trade him? They wouldn't trade him. I'm telling you right now, they wouldn't trade Sanchez. If I were a team, I'd love to steal Sanchez from the Yankees. I don't believe they would trade him. I don't believe they would trade him. Now, I know they don't want to trade Andujar. So that's why I would, if I were the Mets, I would dangle somebody in front of them and try and get Sanchez from them. If I could get Frazier, Sanchez, if I'm the Mets, if I could get Frazier, Sanchez, and Bird, I'd make the trade. I don't think the Yankees would do that. Larry in Hillsborough, what's up, Larry?
Hey, Mr. Francesa, it's a pleasure to speak at you.
What's happening?
Listen, why is it that every Yankee fan is caught up on every team out there going to give their best player away? Like for nothing. I'm
That's not happening. But the Yankees are trying to trade for a pitcher. We all know that. But they're not gonna come cheap though.
No, exactly. Like you can't be delusional and think we're going to get Max Scherzer for a bag of balls, or even 3 prospects. They're not going to give their best player away for anything.
Well, listen,
it's just stupid.
they might. Who are you talking about? What team?
As any team in general.
It depends who you're talking about. Do I think you could pry DeGrom away from the Mets? I think if you made the package rich enough, you might be able to. It'd be a pot,
right?
But you'd have to really give them an incredible package.
You'd have to entice them with a lot of.
Well, I told you what it would take for me. I would take Bird, Sanchez, and Frazier.
Yeah, but do you have to go that route? I mean, why give up so much?
Well, I don't think they would do that, the Yankees. I don't think they would do that. I don't think the Yankees would trade Sanchez. I think they would trade Bird. I don't think they would trade Sanchez. I know they don't want to trade Andujar, but listen, the Yankees can't go shopping they can't go in the Diamond District unless they want to give away one of their big kids. They're not giving away Torres on anything. We understand that he's not touchable. We understand that, and we all understand that. We all agree with that. They don't want to give up Andujar. So if they're not going to give up Andujar, you have to, if you're a GM and you're bargaining with them, you have to go down the route of asking them, would they trade Sanchez? I don't believe they would. But if they are so inclined, you have to try to take them off their hands. I think that would turn out. I mean, if I could rebuild the Mets with those 3 players, I think all 3 of them would be right in the middle of their lineup for a long time. You're talking about 2 25s and a 23-year-old. And I think all 3 could be very big hitters for them. But I don't think they would make that trade. Tad in Waterbury, what's up, Tad?
Hey, Mike, thanks for taking the call.
Yeah, what's happening?
What's going on with Hanley Ramirez? And you think he would be a good fit at first base for a team that is struggling at production there? I mean, nobody's talking about him at all.
Well, first of all, I think the other stuff, which I gather he is, from everything I could tell, he's been cleared of all those allegations. Okay, there were a lot of allegations following him around. I'm sure you're aware of that, right?
Yep.
I think he's been cleared of all that. Now it's just baseball related. Is he a problem? He has to be a DH, first of all. You know that. He can't field. So you got to bring him to a team that has a DH. If you brought him to a team that has a DH, I mean, he can produce. There's no question. He's a good hitter. He's not a good fielder. He's a good hitter. So, and he's been cleared, I think, of all the stuff, as far as I know. So I could see somebody bringing him to a team. But as a DH. Jay in Far Rockaway. What's up, Jay?
Hey, Mike. How's it going?
Good. What's happening?
Good question, and not a trade offer with the Mets. You ever notice, like, in 2000, 2006, and then 2015, they go through these, like, steady declines. They don't try to improve after they make the World Series, really. Maybe they tried. But, like, for example, Kansas City lost in Game 7, came all the way back, and, they were able to do it. But the Mets seem to just, like, get these steady declines and make poor personnel decisions. What do you think that is? I mean, listen, different GMs also.
Listen, I think this year, the team they brought, if everything had worked out, they had a team that could at least be a contender this year. But let's be honest. I mean, they lose Syndergaard. They have the issue where Harvey, now, amazingly, and this is the Mets' luck, Harvey is in the midst of his fourth straight. Oh, he's pitching tomorrow. He's not pitching today. Oh, I thought, okay, it's not him. Oh, he's pitching tomorrow. Okay, I looked up at the Cub game and said, that's Harvey again, so he's not pitching till tomorrow. Okay, so Harvey's not pitching till tomorrow, but his last 3 starts have been sensational. He's starting to pitch better. So, again, could they have waited? I don't think they should have. I think everyone agreed with that, but now he's starting to look a little better. Everybody they brought in has been a disaster this year. Cespedes, nothing. Bruce, nothing. Conforto, nothing. They bring in Vargas. They go there. He's been a disaster. In the bullpen, disaster. They get nothing out of, as Sandy said, 8 players, nothing out of any of the 8. All of them playing below what you would consider their norm. You can't survive that on a baseball team. You can't have 8 guys.
How are we supposed to trust his lieutenants now? They made those decisions too, right?
Well, I didn't say you should trust his lieutenants.
Yeah,
first of all, really you're talking about Rico because JP and Omar just got back there, so you can't blame Omar.
No, I don't.
Yeah, so and I don't know how much JP's been in charge. So I think it's really, you're talking about Sandy and Rico have been the guys. So to me, it's them. I would get a new general manager if I was the Mets. I agree. I would not trade any of my big pieces, and I would get a new general manager. That's what I would do. That's my decision. That's what I would do. I would say that I'm not saying some of those guys can't stay in the organization. They can. I want a new guy running the organization. That's what I would do, and I'd let him decide whether he's moving my big pieces or not. Because if these guys don't deserve to be the general manager, if none of them deserve to be the general manager and you're going to go out and start a search, then you don't let them trade the pieces either. So it's either one or the other. Either name someone now and let him be the general manager, or don't name anybody and then go and trade the big pieces and wait till next season. The Mets don't have to trade any. They can make little trades here. They can dump the Cabrera and dump a Wilmer Flores and dump a relief pitcher, and they can do that, but don't trade anybody big until you get the guy who's running your franchise. Jimmy and Yonkers, what's up, Jimmy?
Hey, Mike, I want to ask you a question. You think Andujar and even Gleyber Torres, the fact that the minor league season is over in August, they've never played a whole major league season, you think that could have an effect on them in September?
Always possible. I mean, guys can hit a wall. I wouldn't worry about it very much. I think with these guys, they might go through a little of that here and there, but they're so talented it won't matter. Torres has a chance to be. I mean, this is a scary statement. He has a chance to be better than Cano, and that's talking about a guy like that's Hall of Fame good. That's how good this guy is. And Cano, Cano without the steroids, Cano was going to the Hall of Fame. He was putting up Hall of Fame numbers for the position he played. He was on a track to go to the Hall of Fame. So that's how good he was. I think this guy can be better. That's saying a lot. Now, I think he's better than Andujar, but I think Andujar is very solid. But I think Torres has a chance to be a great player. I think this team will be Torres and Judges for a very long time. Jeff in Connecticut, what's up, Jeff?
A couple things. Sanchez, not to belittle his value. I'd be tempted to trade him. I mean,
why?
Defensively,
are you overreacting to this year or not?
No, I mean he's just not a good defensive receiver. Mm-hmm. I'm saying, but if you get the right, obviously he has a value. So did Mike Piazza, and he couldn't play defense either. But I would definitely, for the right player, consider moving Sanchez.
Do you think Mike Piazza had a value?
What's that?
Do you think Mike Piazza had a value in his career?
Oh, I definitely do.
He's an all-star every year.
I didn't catch that.
He was an all-star every year.
I realize that, but he had his receiving problems.
He did.
Too.
You could run on him. And Sanchez, who has a very good arm, just does not have a very good glove.
No, I know.
But you realize that even in this bad year, he leads all catches in every statistic. You realize that?
That's fine. A lot of teams won the World Series.
Okay. So the fact that you have a catcher that could hit 30 home runs and knock in 100 runs and be that kind of offensive force, you don't think there's a role for that?
I'm not saying there isn't, but also what I'm saying is How many teams won the World Series in the last 25 years that didn't have the catcher with those stats?
I can tell you a team that won the World Series that didn't have any specific thing. That's silly. That's not a criteria. That's not a criteria.
I think you're being silly.
How many teams do you think would line up to take Sanchez?
Look, great. Then hopefully they have a player that's worth his value.
Really? So your problem. So you don't think Sanchez is an impressive player?
No, I just said he's got great value, and he can bring a good.
Except that you want to get rid of him because you don't think he can win with him. That was your premise a minute ago.
No, it wasn't my premise. Don't put words in my mouth.
Well, but then you're just wasting our time. If that wasn't your premise, then you just wasted our time because that's what you said. So you like him, then you don't like him. You like him, then you don't like him. Now you want to get rid of him because you can win with a backup. Okay, try playing with a backup the whole season. See how it works out. Try getting a catcher that hits 180. Go ask the Mets if they'd like to have a guy like Sanchez. See how fast they run to him. Sean in Staten Island. What's up, Sean?
Hey, Mike. What's up, buddy?
What's happening?
Mike, I can't believe what I'm hearing from some of these calls about Gary Sanchez.
Because it's listen, we're in the what have you done lately world, okay? That's the world that we always live in. When a guy isn't having a best season, everyone's on him, and then if I could play you the calls about Sanchez for the last 2 years, people were comparing him to Babe Ruth.
He's arguably the best hitter on the team when he's playing at the level that
he's capable of being that good.
I wouldn't trade him for anybody. I wouldn't trade Torres or Sanchez for anyone or Judge. The three of them, to me, they're untouchable. Untouchable. Real quick on Brandon Drury, why can't he play second while Torres is out? Keep Walker on the bench.
Excellent question. I think a couple of things. Number one, I think they're trying to make a decision on Walker. And I think if Walker doesn't have a couple of quick days there, he'll be replaced by Drury. Number two, I think you might see Drury playing some first base. And number three, I also think he's on a block. So I think there's multiple reasons for that. See, I think Drury doesn't have a role here. You can't pigeonhole him into the Walker role. Torres can play the Walker role, or Walker can play it. Drury's not there to play once every 2 weeks or pinch hit once every 10 days. That's the role that he has now. Drury doesn't. That's not for Drury. Drury's 25 years old. He needs to play every day. There's nowhere for him to play every day here. So with that being the case, they have to move Drury. If Andujar's their guy, and he is, then they have to move Drury. He doesn't. Go ahead.
What if they get a deal where they have to include Andujar and maybe another low-level guy? Not an Andujar and Frazier type deal, just an Andujar and another maybe low-level prospect, AA, maybe AAA prospect. Is that why could they be holding on to him for that reason too, to see if they get a right deal for Andujar that they like?
Well, I think, listen, they brought him in here. Clearly, they brought him in here to be a insurance policy. There's also, maybe you've heard this, maybe you haven't, there's some rumors about if Andujar goes, that the Yankees may get Moustakas. I've heard that too,
I read that. I heard that.
So that's been out there too. That's if Andujar was moved, though. They can get their hands on Moustakas very easily. That could happen. That could also happen. So that's a possibility right there. I think Drury is most likely going to get moved here. I think, listen, it happens. Listen, Andujar came in and just took his job. There's nothing you can do. Torres rock and rolled, and you didn't know if Andujar and Torres were going to work out like this. Now that they did, Drury doesn't have a role here, and he's not a guy who wants to be a backup at his age. I wouldn't want to be a backup either at 25 years old. No one wants to be a backup when you've been an everyday player. No one wants to be a backup at this age. You want to play. So I think they need to move him. I know that they've had the idea that they could, definitely use Moustakas if they had to. I think, listen, if they're going to go down the heavy, if they're going to go into the aisle that gets them a serious pitcher, then Andujar's going to be in the trade. Because anybody worth his salt who's going to make a trade and give the Yanks a big-time pitcher is going to want Frazier and Andujar in the trade. I'm assuming that Sanchez is not available. I would be out looking for Sanchez. If I was the other team, I would be pushing hard for Sanchez, just to think and see if it's vulnerable that I can maybe let them keep Andujar and push and grab Sanchez. I'd be grabbing Sanchez with both hands, but I don't believe they'll do that. So I think if they go and get a certain level pitcher, it would be Frazier and Andujar who would spearhead that trade. And that's a lot. You're giving teams two big. I think Frazier's going to be an everyday player. I think Andujar's an everyday player. I think they're giving you two good players to build around. So that's 2/3 of what will probably be a 3-player trade right there. So I think Moustakas could be a insurance policy. So could Drury, but I think Drury could be gone back after this.